This is the first week of Confident PCOS Kitchen Challenge. And I wanted to run this for the community. It's like a different spin to what we usually do, weekly meal prep, but I really wanted to focus on some three core components of PCOS meal planning that could really help reduce stress. The first week, we're going to be talking about fueling your body using whole foods, but not having to cook from scratch completely. So, we're going to be talking about some convenient whole food alternatives you can get at the grocery store. Next week, we're going to be talking about fiber and how we can use it as a tool to help better manage our blood sugar, to help us keep us full and satisfied, helps with our gut health. It helps with cholesterol levels. It really does. Fiber is the best. So that's like my favorite. Then we're going to talk about protein on the third week. So each week of the challenge, we're going to have a little lesson, a small little cooking demo. I'm going to be talking about the concepts, showing you guys some products, some foods, some techniques, and then we'll have follow-up emails each day after the call. I'll be sending out a replay of this, and you'll also get supportive ebooks and handouts and recipe packs and cooking videos, everything to help you implement what we've talked about during these sessions. This is kind of similar to what we do inside the PCOS Meal Prep membership, except for that, we actually pick out a couple recipes and we prep them together from start to finish. So you can feel confident, so you can reduce your stress around food. They can be used as coaching calls. They could be used for just support and accountability. It's really however you want. And you can use these weekly sessions for that too. I want to remind everybody that this is not about food rules, that this is not about perfection. This is just helping you build a system and understanding the basics and the components of making really balanced meals. Now, this week is about fueling your body. So we're really talking about using whole foods to do that. Whole food carbohydrates give you energy, basically trying to limit processed foods, or I should say ultra processed foods as much as possible. That's going to help you improve your diet quality overall. That's going to help you reduce your sodium intake or your added sugar intake. It's going to help you increase your fiber intake and your vitamins and your minerals and your antioxidants and all those things that are going to help your body operate more efficiently and help prevent disease. So that is the goal, is we want to overall with PCOS is to improve our diet quality. That's what's going to help improve inflammation, insulin resistance, and prevent chronic disease. So, but how do we do that without feeling like you have to make everything from scratch? Because a lot of times people feel like they have to cook everything from scratch and you can't utilize convenience products. So you could still do the both. You could still utilize whole foods in your cooking, but also not have to cook everything from scratch. We're kind of doing like a pantry tour tonight. We're going to show you some products that you can grab and to help kind of make your life easier, but also be adding in more nutrition to your life. I wanted to touch base on ultra processed foods versus processed foods. Ultra processed foods are foods that have had a lot of things done to it or added to it, and they don't look like its normal physical state. Let me give you an example. Okay. So this is a butternut squash, right? Whole butternut squash, whole food. Excellent. This can be a pain in the butt to cut up and use. And the idea of having to like peel this and cut this might not be something you want to do on a Tuesday night. And it might prevent you from eating the vegetable. So a great alternative would be something like this, frozen butternut squash. This has been peeled and it's been chopped and partially like kind of cooked, and it doesn't go bad. You can keep it in your freezer for a really long time. This is a processed food. Is it bad for you? No, because it's not an ultra processed food. Should have brought out an ultra. Oh, I have some right here because we do have ultra processed foods in my house. It's not like we don't eat them. It's about learning to balance them. This is an ultra processed food, right? A bag of potato chips. This is not anywhere near what a potato is. We know that a diet high in ultra processed foods leads to more chronic diseases. A diet high in these ultra processed foods usually are lacking fiber, usually are low in protein, added sugars, and they're lacking those vitamins, those minerals, and the antioxidants. So the goal is not to like eliminate all processed foods, because this is a processed food. This is a processed food. Like we're going to go through everything, but we want to limit those ultra processed foods. Okay, let me put this back. I want to show you some foods that you might be like, oh my gosh, could I have that? Or maybe you haven't thought about as like a convenient option. I'm going to go through the pantry tour so I could show you some foods that you could add to your weekly shopping list or keep on hand to make your life easier. And this is all about leveraging like store-bought ingredients to make your life so much easier. One of the things that you might want to check out on a food label when you've come across a food in the grocery store, you want to check out a food label. Ideally, you want to try to find ones with low added sugar, not total sugars, but low added sugar. I usually recommend trying to aim for foods with less than 6 to 8 grams of added sugar per serving of a packaged food. Now, when it comes to sodium, this is just for general health or those that are very salt sensitive or have hypertension. Trying to choose foods that have 140 milligrams of sodium per serving or less, if possible. That can be kind of hard because sodium's in a lot of things. So if you're trying to limit sodium, we're going to have to pick and choose and see where we can limit it. And saturated fat. We know that a diet high in saturated fat is associated with heart disease. So we want to make sure that we're looking for foods that have 2 to 3 grams or less per serving of saturated fat. That's going to be some good guidelines. Ones that are high in fiber. If I can get something that has like 3 grams or more of fiber per serving, that's the one I'm going to choose. So let's look at what kind of store-bought foods that you could use to leverage and make really quick and easy and simple meals. I want to start with some proteins. So I grabbed a collection of different proteins. I'm going to clean it down at my store today. I'm going to show you guys a variety, and then I'm going to do a quick little cooking demo to show you different things. So I've got all these, I have a lot of different proteins over here. One of the first ones that I love keeping on hand is going to be canned beans. This is a quick and easy, convenient protein. Yes, there might be a little bit more sodium in it if you made it yourself, but honestly, I don't ever remember to make a pot of beans. And you can buy low sodium beans as well as no added salt beans. The no added salt beans might not taste as good, so I caution against that because you do need a little salt in your food to make it taste good. But keeping a variety of canned beans on hand is great. And you can even buy them frozen and buy bags of frozen beans that are already cooked and you're just going to warm them up. That's a great option. Lentils are another great option, and you can actually buy those canned as well. And this is what I used to make dinner today. I made quesadillas and I put chicken inside of it. But a rotisserie chicken, I think you should be picking up a rotisserie chicken every week. It's a quick and easy, convenient protein you can add to anything. This is great to make stir fries too. You could get frozen stir fry veggies, a bottled sauce that's like low sugar, your rotisserie chicken, and then grab some quinoa or brown rice, and dinner is done. So that's a great option. But I also wanted to show you another one I saw in the market. I was looking for other pre-cooked chickens in my grocery store and I didn't see any, but I did see this pre-marinated chicken breast. This is like a chimichurri flavor. So this does have some added sodium into it. But when you're comparing, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to add it to the quinoa bean salad that I'm going to make real quickly, you can easily put together a dinner that's high in protein, high in fiber, and high in whole foods overall. So pre-marinated meats are a great option. One of my favorites is going to be keep canned salmon or tuna. So these are great proteins to keep on hand as well. Even though these are considered processed, they're not an ultra processed food. You're still getting omega-3s, you're still getting protein. These are a great option. What else did I get? Chicken. Oh, hard-boiled eggs. This is a great way to make quick and easy meals. Sometimes, yes, you can make them yourself, but something that's like a little bit of extra work that's not going to happen. This could be used as a snack. This could be made into egg salad. This could be added to tuna salad that I'm going to do tonight. Snack, breakfast, whatever. Other great protein options to keep on hand or try out would be having some kind of dairy that has a good amount of protein in it. So that could be cottage cheese, that could be Greek yogurt. These are very convenient. You can take this cottage cheese, chop up an apple, sprinkle some cinnamon and pecans on top, and you have a really great breakfast bowl. Or I'll even do it for lunch where I'll do like tomatoes and cucumbers, pumpkin seeds, a little drizzle of olive oil, and cracked black pepper, and it's delicious. So just as an idea that I wanted to give you guys. Now I want to talk to you about some grains, some whole grains and whole food carbohydrates that you can utilize. Some people struggle a lot with protein in their diet. That's kind of like me. I don't really gravitate towards it. So having easy options like this for me really helps. Some people struggle with getting whole grains in their diet. So I picked out a variety of like really easy whole grains that I want you to consider when you're in the store. Just grab a bunch of the stuff. So the one that I'm using tonight is just a frozen quinoa blend. It has some veggies in it, already seasoned. You can just get plain quinoa too. That's frozen. You don't even have to cook it. You can get microwave cups too. So a blend like this, whole wheat wraps, 5 grams of fiber in them. So this is a great way of getting some whole grains and fiber into your diet. And consider other whole grain options. So I've got these here. So I have some brown basmati rice. If you have tried brown rice before and you're not a huge fan, I would recommend trying like a brown basmati rice. It has a better texture than traditional brown rice. Basmati rice also has a lower glycemic index versus like a jasmine rice, even when it's compared to like white rice. And a brown basmati will have even lower glycemic index. So this is a great thing to keep on hand. You could add it to the stir fry that you're going to make with your rotisserie chicken and some frozen veggies. Whole grain pasta, it makes a great base for most meals, and you can combine it with a jarred sauce, a can of beans, and some frozen veggies or frozen meatballs, and you've got a really well-balanced meal. And also consider different types of grains like purple rice. The purple color is going to provide a lot of antioxidants. So this is a fun one to keep on hand because you're going to get an extra boost of nutrition. The other super convenient, easy whole grain option is a whole grain, 100% whole grain frozen waffle that also has some protein in it. This could be an easy breakfast, toasted with some nut butter and sliced strawberries on top. That's a really great way of getting some extra fiber and protein in. Those are some whole grain options that maybe you haven't thought of before. Or maybe you do, and you're like, you feel maybe guilt around it. A lot of times people feel a lot of guilt and shame around eating foods that are quick and easy and convenient. Next, I wanted to talk about vegetables and fruits. That is something that we all probably need more of in our life. Vegetables and fruits provide vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and phytochemicals, and these are compounds that help fight disease. It can be hard to get in the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables. People think 5 a day, but it's really like 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And if you are trying to get pregnant or improve fertility, fertility research is really showing 4 servings of veggies at least, 4 servings of fruit at least every day. And that could be difficult if you don't have a lot of time to cook and if things go bad. So I wanted to show you some great options, whether quick, easy, convenient, but also some are shelf stable. Frozen vegetables are picked and frozen at the height of ripeness, and they are quickly flash frozen, so all that nutrition stays inside. Canned goods maybe have a little less like vitamin C in there, as long as there's not a lot of added salt or flavors and things like that, like in a frozen veggie or something like that. They are still great options. So canned food is something that is quick and easy and convenient to keep on hand. I picked up some canned corn. I actually used it tonight. Canned tomatoes are great because depending on where you live, you might not have access to tomatoes all year round. I live in Florida, so I'm kind of lucky, but you can whip up a lot of things with a can of tomatoes. Another vegetable that we don't really think that much about, but a lot of us do enjoy are artichokes. And you can buy those canned or frozen. And these are super high fiber food. You could add this to pastas, you could add this to dips, you could add this to eggs in the morning, to your cheese and crackers if you're having a snack to bump up that fiber content. And then canned fruits. This is also a great option to keep on hand, but keeping some canned fruit on hand that's canned in 100% juice is a great way to make sure you can get some fruit in every day. Now let's look at some other options for fruits and vegetables when it comes to convenience. One of my favorite things is to keep jarred tomato sauce on hand. You can make everything with it. One of my favorite things to do is puree a can of beans into it and then put it over pasta. I'm also going to be using it to cook eggs into it and then sprinkle it with feta and some kale, and that will be eaten with some crusty bread this week. It's going to be delicious. So we all know about like frozen vegetables, like they're easy and convenient. But a lot of times we're kind of stuck with like the same ones, like, oh, broccoli, maybe spinach. But like I showed you, butternut squash, this could be mashed into like a butternut squash puree or added to soups and pureed in. It's also really great added into macaroni and cheese. So you can cook it up, puree it, and it makes really great macaroni and cheese. Frozen bell pepper strips. So if you're making nachos or tacos or fajitas, soups, anything, bell peppers can be very pricey, and this is a great economical way to get some different colors into your diet. Oh, and then this one I found, I usually buy a really big bag of this at Costco, but they had tiny ones at my little grocery store. And this is a fire roasted vegetable, pre-seasoned, and you just throw it on a sheet pan and throw it in the oven. And you can pair this with your rotisserie chicken or maybe my chimichurri chicken and maybe a little bit of my purple rice, and then dinner is done. Okay. So fresh vegetables that are quick and convenient, also a great option. Sometimes they do cost a little bit extra, but you have to kind of weigh out what's your time. Do you have the time or the energy to cut up a bunch of vegetables? And you might, you might not, and that's okay. Everybody's going to be different. My store, I found this bag of vegetables, like pretty heavy. It has peppers and onions and zucchini, squash, broccoli, mushrooms. And I thought this was great because if I come home like tomorrow after gymnastics and I don't really want to cook, I'm going to take this and I'm going to throw it on a sheet pan with some olive oil, salt, and pepper. And I'm going to put my chicken on top and I'm going to throw both these things in the oven and then I'll have dinner ready. So this does come in handy because having something like this already done will prevent me from being like, oh, let's just order pizza like that. Other things to keep in mind is like pre-shredded carrots, pre-shredded coleslaw mix can be used as a salad base or in wraps. Tiny whole potatoes, you don't even have to cut them. You could just wash them and throw them on a sheet pan and roast them. The different colors means different antioxidant. What else do we have here? Frozen fruit is great to keep on hand. Pre-washed chopped greens, as kale. I found this today that I thought was really fun and my daughter liked it. This is a little kind of smoothie and it has bananas and strawberries and apples. It also has some brown rice protein and flax seeds. So it's a really great little source of fiber and protein if you need a little boost. So that is some options to leverage your supermarket for fruits and vegetables that makes your life easier. The most important part of any of these meals is going to be flavor, right? Because we want to make sure everything tastes delicious. So we're going to eat half a plate of it. When it comes to vegetables, that can be a challenge. So I wanted to show you some ideas for flavoring that you could utilize store-bought stuff. So don't be afraid to grab dressings, like pre-made dressings, salsa. I have tzatziki sauce made with Greek yogurt, soy sauce, hummus. All those things can be used to help enhance the flavor of these store-bought ingredients. So let's make a few dishes. And I realize I need to get some olive oil real quick. and some salt and pepper. So one of the things I'll be sending out is a ebook about leveraging store-bought ingredients, how you can get more whole foods in the diet, but not have to make everything from scratch. So I'm going to show you a few assembly meals that you can make. It's going to give you some ideas as well. I'm going to first make a really simple chickpea grain bowl, and I'm going to be utilizing some canned chickpeas, the frozen quinoa blend that I used. You could use frozen spinach too, but mine already had it in there, so that's great. And some lemon juice and olive oil, and I think I'm going to add some kale from my bag that I have. And I want to show you how we can use these convenient products to make a really easy meal. Let me point you guys down so you guys can see what I'm going to be using. So there's like olive oil and a lemon, and that could be a simple meal. Now I have some ideas. You have extra things that you want to jazz it up with, but this is a great start. Okay. So I'm going to grab my quinoa. I just warmed it up on my skillet. This is that frozen pack of quinoa. It has a little bit of green in it, a little bit of kale or spinach, not too much, a few tomatoes. We could definitely add more. To this, we're going to add in the can of chickpeas. You now have a complete protein because you've got protein from the quinoa and protein from the beans. They're going to complement each other. Some kale. This is already pre-washed kale, so I don't have to spend time washing it, and I'm just going to use my hands to rip it into smaller pieces. That's going to save me time as well. And I like kale because it's one green that's pretty hearty and you can easily meal prep it the week in some salads. All right, and I'm just going to mix this together. So my quinoa had some seasoning in it, but what I'm going to do is add a little bit of olive oil. We're keeping that same formula that we used inside the meal prep membership, and really like all over, it's recommended to have that protein, fiber, and healthy fats at meals. So we have protein from the beans and the quinoa. We have fiber from the beans and the quinoa and the veggies. And then we have some healthy fats from the extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to add in some lemon juice. Having that acid will kind of brighten things. Also adds in some vitamin C. And what the lemon juice will also do is help soften that kale a little bit. So this could be considered meal prep. You don't have to spend like 8 hours in the kitchen or even an hour. You could buy these ingredients and just quickly put it together. And then I'm probably just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. If I wanted to keep adding more things, I could add some carrots that I bought. I could also add in some scallions. I had scallions in my fridge. I can add avocado, cucumber, feta, and I have some fresh tomatoes as well. Those are all things that I could add into this, or I could keep it just how it is. I'm going to add a little bit of feta. So I feel like that makes everything better. I really like the feta that is in the brine where I crumble myself. It has a better texture. You could use goat cheese if you like as well. And if you really wanted to make this high protein, you could you could add rotisserie chicken to the top of this. You could add some of the chicken skewers that Costco sells. What else could you do? You could add a frozen turkey burger that you cook up. It's really anything that's quick and easy for you. So that is one really simple, easy meal that you can make with these items. And then I wanted to show you one more that's good for lunch or dinner. This one would be great for dinner with as is or extra protein, but it really takes like 2 minutes to make. Microwave the quinoa, open up the can of beans, cut a lemon. The other meal that I wanted to show you was a really quick veggie tuna wrap because I don't think we utilize tuna enough as a healthy protein. So I'm going to utilize some tuna packets. I have some lemon pepper ones. I'm going to add in, instead of mayonnaise, I'm going to use a little bit of cottage cheese, which I thought would be good. And I like tuna with hard-boiled eggs. So I'm going to add some hard-boiled eggs and some shredded carrots. And then I'm going to wrap it in my whole grain wrap. And I think I might add a scallion to my tuna, but you don't need to. I think I'm going to start with that because I do love scallions, especially in like an egg and tuna salad. But that is the one kind of chopping thing we're going to do. All right. Let me point you guys down so you can see. And with scallions, I use the top and the bottom. I don't just cut off the green part. I use the white bottom as well. And I like it because it has a more mild flavor than like an onion, like a red onion or a white onion, a Vidalia onion. That go in everything. And then when you look at a package of tuna, so one pouch is going to be 16 grams of protein, which is awesome. And what I like about the pouches is that you don't have to drain it at all, which just makes it so much easier and it's great for travel or keeping at a desk or something like that. And this is an amazing source of omega-3 fatty acids, which will help reduce inflammation in the body, which we know could be contributing to our insulin resistance and our symptoms. Really important also for brain health and for fertility. Most Americans are not getting enough omega-3s in the diet. So everywhere we can add in a little bit of omega-3 is great. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is take my fork, mash it up. Because I really like egg in my tuna salad, I'm going to use this other convenient protein, and I'm going to add in 2 hard-boiled eggs. And all I'm going to do is mash them up with my fork. And you can use mayo if you want here. You could just use olive oil. I'm going to put a little bit of cottage cheese in it. Sounds weird, but it's going to be good. But again, if that grows you, just use, I like to use yogurt a lot. You could definitely use mayo if you prefer. Excellent. All right, so we have our tuna egg salad mixture made from all quick and convenient, easy products. So the one thing is like with meal prep, a lot of times you feel like you have to make elaborate meals ahead of time. But if you just chose to pick out like lunch and you made this tuna salad real quick, right? You didn't have to hard-boil the eggs. And then you could easily make a wrap with this tuna salad and pair it with some fruit, maybe a yogurt or something like that, whatever you'd like with your lunch. So I have my full grain tortilla, and I prefer the whole wheat versus like a carb balance because this one has 5 grams of fiber, but it's 100% whole wheat. The first ingredient is going to be whole wheat flour. If you look at the other ones, the first ingredient is water, then starch. And if it's the whole wheat one, then it's like wheat flour down the way. Just a personal preference. All right. I'm going to add on my tuna egg salad. And a big handful of shredded carrots, already shredded, so much easier. and then a few pieces of kale. So that's what I have. So this is a really simple tuna wrap that's super high in fiber, super high in protein, and really only takes a few minutes to make. I'm gonna probably eat this for dinner. It looks really good. The ebook for leveraging store-bought ingredients will be sent out to you guys this week. It has simple meal ideas where you're like no recipe recipes kind of thing, but then also some recipes that are also available inside the meal planner. I also wanted to talk about leveraging your store-bought ingredients for snacks because a lot of times, again, you don't have to be making all of your snacks. And if you concentrate your efforts on a meal, maybe like breakfast or lunch, you could purchase pre-made snacks. So I want to share my screen and show you guys this handout I'll be sending you just to show you a couple easy store-bought snack ideas that you could utilize. So first one is just some really simple hummus and baby carrots, so you don't have to cut up anything. The next one would be Greek yogurt and berries, whole grain crackers and nut butter, roasted chickpeas that you just buy at the store, guacamole and tortilla chips. And my favorite is actually mixing guacamole and cottage cheese and eating it with the tortilla chips. It's really good. Pairing string cheese with an apple or a tuna packet that we had with some whole grain crackers, utilizing some hard-boiled eggs as a snack, a trail mix, which would have like nuts and dried fruit in there, some seeds, and then some cottage cheese with some pineapple chunks. And you could utilize canned pineapple in the cottage cheese that we have. Honestly, we have a lot of these foods on the table right now. But this will be sent out to you guys, as well as the ebook for leveraging store-bought ingredients. And then I also will send out a handout about pantry meals to help you put together some balanced meals of ingredients you can keep on hand. And these kind of meals save you a lot of time when you're busy and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to make. I don't have any time. I didn't go to the store. That's when you pull out your pantry meal. And then throughout the week, you'll be getting new emails with some recipes, inspiration. I really want you to pick a goal this week and try to leverage these store-bought ingredients and make your life easier, basically. Next week, we're going to be diving into fiber and talking about why it's important for PCOS, why we want to be including it, and then talk about some simple and easy ways that we can get more fiber in. So I hope you all learned a lot this week with the first week of the Confident PCOS Kitchen Challenge. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.